Hey, what's up, knife enthusiasts? So I know there's a lot of sort of disagreements and arguments about things like this. So let's just get it out of the way real quick. A clone is a knife that is basically a copy of an existing knife without any branding. A counterfeit is a knife that is a copy of an existing knife with illegal branding, meaning that they are stealing the trademark of another company in hopes to benefit financially from that. So what we have here are two ZT 0350s, a great EDC knife, one that I recently picked up from a ZT distributor. And just for reference, because I'm not trying to trick anyone, this top knife with the lanyard on it is the legit ZT. The bottom knife is the counterfeit. So let's look at a couple things real quick right off the bat. When you get your box, the first thing that you're going to want to look for is a barcode. A barcode on your box like that is a pretty good sign that you're dealing with a legit knife. Any reputable brand, see, this is a Boker, Benchmade, Ontario, even this K-Bar, and of course Spyderco. All of these legitimate knife manufacturers are going to barcode their items because that way they know what's shipping in and out of the factory. This box, which looks identical to a legit box in every way, even down to the colors, has no barcode on either side. Both of them have some ZT paperwork inside. But that right there, the lack of a barcode, is a dead giveaway that you're dealing with a counterfeit item. All right, let's get to the knives real quick. Okay, now I've already changed my knife to tip-up carry because that's how I prefer. But it did come tip-down carry, and the number 2 way, which you can tell right away that your knife is not legit. Of course, you need to have a real one to know this, or a tool, is that the hardware is different. They're different sized hardware. This is a Kershaw tool, and since ZT is basically a spin-off of Kershaw, or a sort of luxury line of Kershaw knives, most of these tools will fit the ZT line. And when I got this ZT knife, the first thing I did was change the clip to tip-up carry, and the tool fit perfectly. But it does not fit in these. So you know right away that with different hardware, you're not dealing with a legitimate knife. So those are 2 dead giveaways right off the bat. So if you thought to yourself, oh, well, maybe the knife didn't come in a box, maybe it was used by someone, so you're getting a pre-owned knife, so you don't have the box to look at a barcode, well, that's number 2. Now, number 3 is this. Now, the 0350 is a spring-assisted blade. Now, I'm going to pop out the real one. I mean, that thing comes out with a real snap, real authority. And look at the G10 scales. Can you see the lines on it? You can see that this is like got some like real work gone into it. The counterfeit, it just doesn't come out with the same oomph. It might sound the same in the video, but you can feel it doesn't have that same kick. And look at those G10 scales. I mean, there's almost no detail in those scales. So that's 3 and 4, the way the knife deploys and the look of the scales. Now, some people will point out the printing on the blade. But the counterfeits have done a pretty good job of nailing that. It's very close. There's a tiny difference in the font, but it's not enough to really be a real red flag if you were holding one in your hand. However, if you're looking at the two blades, you'll notice the finish on them is just a little off. The real ZT has sort of a muted, almost gray wash, flat black. And the counterfeit, look at how my fingerprint stays on there. Look at that. The counterfeit just has a different finish on the blade. It's still flat, but it's got a little bit of a gleam to it, so that like you can see, look at those fingerprints on there. So, just to recap. Number 1, look for a barcode on your box. Number 2, make sure that the hardware is the hardware that's supposed to be on the knife. Number 3, how does the blade deploy? Number 4, what's the detail in the scales? And number 5, what's the finish on the blade? Five ways that you can definitely spot a fake. These two knives feel exactly the same in hand. There's no difference in the way they feel in hand. So you're going to need to look for these small details to make sure that you don't get ripped off. I'll be honest, the counterfeit feels and looks like a quality knife. And it might be a good EDC beater, you know, if you don't feel like carrying a $150 knife around all the time with you. I think this counterfeit went for around $45. So yeah, I mean, at less than a third of the price of the real knife, you're getting a deal, but you're getting a fake knife. And it's at the expense of an American company who's not able to sell that knife to you because instead you bought a counterfeit. So hope you've learned a quick lesson here. Sorry, this is my very first YouTube video, so I apologize for not being 100% prepared and rambling a little bit, but I hope to make some more in the future, and I hope to see some of you guys checking these out. Good luck and Godspeed.